April, last one. Okay, April, last one. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Jen. Two questions,
Sure.
really fast. When it comes
Tomorrow's a new day. I will go to the back tomorrow first thing. Thank you so much, everyone.
Jen, Americans continue to suffer on high gas prices, especially low-income Americans. Jen,
Does the president still maintain that he never spoke with his son about his business dealings? And given this reporting on Eric Schwerin, does he also say that he has never spoken to his son's business partners about his son's business dealings?
He maintains his same statements that he's made in the past. I would say, I know you're referring to Waves records that were released more than 10 years ago. I really don't have more detail or information on them. I'd note that there was a gap when Waves records were not released, but I don't have more information about visits from more than 10 years ago. Go ahead.
Administration surging resources to the border, including resources to vaccinate migrants. And the last time I asked about this, I believe your answer was something along the lines of, we have enough funding and supply to take care of the 23 sites that DHS is going to be running to get migrants vaccinated and also take care of uninsured Americans. But it sounded in his answer like that might not be the case anymore. So are we in a place now where there might be a choice where people would have to choose, or the administration would have to choose between supplying resources to migrants coming across the border versus taking care of uninsured Americans?
I'm happy to check on those resources, Jackie.
We've heard you guys say that this is a public health order, it's not an immigration order, it's the CDC's decision. But yesterday, members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus who met with the president relayed some of what he expressed in that meeting. And one of them said that the president told the group that he was looking forward to lifting Title 42, describing it as an excuse to keep people out of the country and anti-immigrant. Is the president really wanting Title 42 to go away because it was a Trump-era policy?
The president has never felt that Title 42 was an effective immigration policy, and he talked about that during the campaign. And he left the CDC to make that determination, unlike his predecessor about a range of decisions. So the president has never made a secret of the fact that he thinks immigration reform is necessary, and that Title 42 was never a replacement for comprehensive immigration reform.
he said today we need an immigration policy and Title 42 should not be done away with until we get an immigration policy or until the CDC basically says we no longer have a health crisis. What does it say about the communication with members of the president's own party that Senator Manchin believes that Title 42 is an immigration tool?
Well, I can't speak to that necessarily. I can tell you that what it is and isn't. It is not an immigration tool. It is a health authority, and one, the CDC, our health experts, of course.
Does it concern you that he's saying that Title 42 should not be done away with until there is an immigration policy?
Well, that's just not how it works. Obviously, Title 42 is, the authority was given to the CDC by Congress. They made a decision.
I wanted to ask if the White House had any reaction to that court case that put the temporary block on Title 42 being repealed.
Things sometimes happen when I'm out here, but before I came out here, they had only done kind of the verbal briefing as of last night. So I'm not sure if has there been a new development or that. Okay. So what I will tell you is that the Department of Justice will need to review kind of any rulings before commenting, and that was verbal. There'll be something more formal as our expectation, and they would discuss any next legal steps or interpretation of the ruling. So we'll leave that to them, and we'll see if more comes out.
CBS and Washington Post have reported today that in yesterday's meeting with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, that President Biden signaled that he was prepared to use executive authority to cancel student debt in the coming months. Can you confirm that this was something relayed to them by the president?
Nobody has paid us a penny in federal student loans since the president took office, and he will make a decision before there's an end to that pause. Right now it's been extended through August.
Using executive action, though, I mean, is that a step now that the president is seriously looking at?
Well, we've talked about that in the past, so he's continuing to look at it.
There has been a conversation, or various conversations, to include at the UN here about how do you handle the Haitian migrant issue when Haitians are being sent back and then you're bringing other refugees in. And I'm hearing that there are conversations around the administration about how to handle once Title 42 ends.
I would have to dig into this a little bit deeper. And as you know, there's TPS, right, that has been granted for a period of time. So that is something that Haitians who have been here at from a certain point in time have access to. Beyond that, our focus, though, is, of course, on continuing to be the largest provider of aid and assistance to Haiti.
Senator Manchin told reporters this morning that there is not a Build Back Better revival. He said that social spending programs he believes should go through regular order, not through the reconciliation process. I wondered if you could explain, just from the White House's perspective, how you all are thinking about reconciliation versus regular order in terms of wanting to get done some of the president's top legislative priorities.
So we know that Senator Manchin has, of course, talked about his efforts to pursue a bipartisan package or bipartisan plan as it relates to energy costs, and we're not going to prejudge that effort, but we're going to continue to engage with a broad range of Democrats, including, of course, Senator Manchin, about how to get the president's agenda done.
Up on Dr. Shah, he said that he talked about global funding for the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
Republicans have said that they want that money offset. So does the administration intend to propose ways to offset that $5 billion, or do you think that's a lost cause? And second,
through emergency authorities where it hasn't been offset, and we certainly think that's reasonable, but we're at such the early stage of this process, having not even sent it up to the Hill yet, we're going to have all of those conversations about how to move it forward.